We're going to do an update. This is September 27th, 2020, and I'm doing an update on the wildfires burning here in southwestern Oregon, so stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hanson. I wanted to give you guys an update. It's been 3 days since my last update on the wildfires burning around southwestern Oregon. Let's start out with the Alameda fire, or the Alameda fire, which was started in Ashland, Oregon. The fires originated at a spot, and then they found a body, and as the fire swept down, it caught 2 more victims. So it was an elderly lady and a 55-year-old gentleman, and the gentleman was trying to alert the residences of the mobile home park where that lady lived. Unfortunately, he did not make it out. So there was 2 of those deaths, and there was another body that they found close to the site of origin of the fire, and that is still under investigation. It's all suspicious. So that fire was driven 2 days in a row by hurricane force winds. These were unprecedented winds that blew through our area those 2 days. Unfortunately, with the long dry conditions that we've had and the high winds, it created a perfect scenario for such a wildfire. There is another factor that played into this, and that was the firefighters discovered there was no water in the fire hydrants. Why? Well, because as the fire burnt through the neighborhoods, these big mobile home parks and neighborhoods leveled them, it exposed the water lines, and with each unit collectively exposing so many water lines, of course the water was bubbling out of those lines. By the time it got down farther away from the water source, there was no pressure left for the fire hydrants. So literally, the firefighters did not have any water to fight their fire with. And this presented a problem. Another problem that is coming up is because of that 55-year-old gentleman who realized other people didn't recognize there was a disaster and then there was a fire. He went through and tried to alert everybody. For some reason, the emergency alert system failed. And that's what they're looking into right now, is why did it fail? So as far as the Alameda fire goes, it was also exacerbated by another fire which was sparked 6 hours later by a homeless man allegedly high on methamphetamines in Phoenix, Oregon. So the fire started in Ashland. Another fire 6 hours later started in Phoenix, and that gentleman was arrested at the scene, and he is now charged with several counts and lodged in the Jackson County Jail, primarily on arson. So what happened was you've got 2 fires that merged together and made a really bad scenario in conjunction with lack of water. Folks who lived outside of the city that were reliant on well water, they were able to have some water pressure to defend some of their area, so long as the power stayed on. Now, power went off on a whole region down there because for obvious reasons. And when they lost power, of course, they lost water. Moving on to the Slater Devil's Fire that started at Happy Camp, California. That fire has moved up north and crossed the Oregon-California border. Now, my son, Jeremy, is a wildland firefighter. He was fighting for 2 months the California wildfires. Finally got the break, come home for 3 days, then they shuttled him off, and he's down fighting the Slater fire. Just south of O'Brien. The stats on that fire is, I don't have a containment right now, and it's by no means anywhere near containment, because now they're facing, again, dry weather, warming temperatures, and gusty winds to exacerbate the fire problems. So far, the Josephine County sheriffs have lowered the evacuation areas around Gasky. Well, Gasky's in California, but especially around O'Brien, they lowered it so they were able to get a handle on it. We've had some rain, a little bit of rain in the area, but unfortunately that did not help the Slater fire. I don't know the acreage or how much personnel is on that fire right now. I covered that in a previous video. It could have changed, but I do know right now that fire is of great concern, because as it heads north, it gets into more populated areas of O'Brien, Cave Junction. It's just right outside of Oregon Caves, which is a national monument, and then on into Grants Pass area, Williams, the little town of Williams, and the Applegate Valley. That could be devastating, especially for our wine growing community here. So everybody's still on edge. Wildfires are still brewing. We're still not out of the woods yet. We got a little bit of relief from some of that rain. It dampened things down just slightly, and it is able to clear up the smoke in the area, so we can breathe a little bit better just for a couple of days. But now we've got the whole week to endure with, like I said, the raising temperatures, the dry conditions, and the high winds expected. Stay tuned to more updates. You can stay tuned right here by subscribing and then clicking that bell icon. That will alert you to the new updates and new videos as I upload them. I do primarily homesteading here on this channel. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. And if you guys feel it in your heart, please donate to a fire relief fund. It's a reputable organization. They are www.asantefoundation.org. They have a wildfire victims fund that they're able to help a lot of fire victims, and they've helped a lot already. They've managed to gather about $75,000 last time they communicated with me on that. So we're hoping to generate more, because there is a lot of need out there, as you've seen from my earlier videos, especially the aerial footage from the helicopter flying over the devastated area. Yeah, a lot of homes destroyed. About 2,400 to be exact, and 400 businesses destroyed. So yeah, it's going to be really tough around here for a while for a lot of people. I'm Jerry Hanson, your host. This is my homestead tucked up in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest and Southwestern Oregon. Again, stay tuned to my channel. I do everything homesteading and a few extra things. Please give me a thumbs up, like this show, and also leave a comment or a question, if you will. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Hey, I always leave my guests with this in mind. Please be safe, and always be kind. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.